All right, so here's the bluff. Comey's out. He's gone. And you should all be very suspicious. Let me tell you why. Because we have such overwhelming, clear evidence that the President of the United States colluded with Russia during his presidential election.
My last election. Yeah. After my election, I have more flexibility.
Yeah, I understand. I transmit this information to Vladimir and understand what.
Oops. How'd that get in there? So where's the investigation on that one, guys? I mean, that's actual overwhelming evidence. Here's my question. With Trump, who is the president now, where's the evidence? There isn't any. There's no smoking gun. There's nothing to even suggest that he was involved in collusion. Now, what evidence is there? There's clear evidence that Flynn was involved in some shady shit. There's apparent evidence that Flynn may have even taken some payoffs. Oh, but wait. Flynn is not a Trump appointee. In fact, didn't Donald Trump get rid of that guy? So we have clear evidence that Obama colluded with the Russians in regard to his 2012 electoral campaign, and that somebody, Flynn, who worked under Obama, was also tied to the Russians. But we're investigating the Donald. Oh, but wait, we're not investigating the Donald. We're investigating whether or not the Russians interfered in the election. And your mainstream media and your Democrats want you to believe that that automatically entails involvement by Donald Trump. So they keep spinning that narrative. Today, I saw it on Facebook. Bernie Sanders is running his mouth and actually had the gall to suggest that Trump is being criminally investigated. But that's not the case. There is not an investigation into criminal action. There's no criminal allegation. So you keep hearing this narrative, Trump and the Russians, and then you hear the Russians interfered in the election. Okay, make the connection for me. Somebody, please, make the connection. Show me the evidence that goes with that. I mean, we've seen the evidence that Hillary Clinton was taking foreign funding from, not just from foreign powers, but specifically from our enemies to aid in her electoral campaign. But no. But Comey's out. And why is Comey out? Because he was failing. And he may have a stellar record before the Hillary email campaign. And I want you to click on this card right here. Because what you need to know is that not only did Hillary do it, but Comey helped her get off. When Comey said no reasonable prosecutor, he was dragged in, he had a hearing. As Comey said in his hearing, Hillary not only did the crimes, but according to the cross-examination by Trey Gowdy, she perjured herself with regard to the crimes and is clearly guilty of spoliation of evidence. The fact that she destroyed evidence is the most damning evidence you can hope for to speak to intent. So Comey's position that intent was a factor isn't even a legitimate factor. The intent is there. It is provable. As to the evidence of Donald Trump colluding with the Russians, we've had Maxine Waters, Dianne Feinstein, Chuck Schumer. We've had Daddy Dernza, Admiral Rogers, and Daddy Durfee before Comey was fired, all say there was no evidence on Russia. In fact, back in March, we had Comey and Rogers testifying before the Senate Intelligence Committee, the Senate Oversight Committee. They both testified, A, that there is no evidence linking Donald Trump to Russia, and that they are investigating Donald Trump being linked to Russia. And then in the same hearing, they both testified there is compelling evidence that surveillance was conducted against Donald Trump's campaign during the election, but we are not investigating that. Come on, guys. Comey had to go. He wasn't just incompetent. He may have been very competent, but he isn't any longer. At a bare minimum, he's become incompetent. But more probably, he's been corrupted. So, lack of confidence, lack of competence, and apparently corrupted. Comey's gone. And that is the bottom line.